What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, the other Lyles on the show, little brother Jace. Bro Shot, how are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
Excellent. She said he's gassed. He may not be on tonight, but hopefully you and I can pull things together in his absence.
Well, I missed one. He's missed one. We got even out of him.
Yeah. All right. Bunch of things to talk about, thanks to you, in large part to you. But let's say what's up to everybody here in the chat first. James Green. What's up, Wednesday Night Movie Crew? What's up, James?
What's going on, James?
Blake Tarbley's in the building. What up, Jeff and the Movie Files fam?
We'll take it.
80s skipping the 90s. What's good, movie crew? That new super suit looks amazing. I'm so excited. I bet Chief is super excited for the movie.
Yeah, super excited.
Read the text. Jamlin says, book, booyah shot. Book. What's up, Jamlin? Crank it up to 11.
One time.
It's a bird. No, it's a plane. It's Lyles Movie Files. This show right here may have to be a hybrid movie figure files clash of the nexus of the universe. Got to talk about both. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to avoid it on this one. Marvel fan, what's going on?
What's going on, Marvel?
What up, Jason Chief? Hopefully, Chief is seeing this in the nexus. Marvel fan, I thought X-Men 97 was crazy. We're doing spoiler talk. I think we can talk about it without going into specific details. Yeah. So we'll tread lightly, but yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Oops. Keith Cooper, what up? They cooked in today's episode. Once again, Magneto was right. Jason and I were having this discussion right after.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely willing to bring that conversation to podcast.
We may not even need the lot, dude. Exactly. So, let's just jump into it. I haven't seen the episode spoil away. I know Janeway doesn't watch it, and so I don't want to spoil it for Janeway. X-Men 97 is really making a case that there is no need for live action X-Men movies. And I was going over the list of the X-Men live action films, and X-Men 2 is okay. I mean, I think, like I always say, there was comic book movies that started with Superman and lasted until 2008 or 2000. I'll say 2008. Batman Begins was a start, but we still had some lackluster comic book movies after it. So to me, the real change in how comic book movies were done was with Iron Man, because Christopher Nolan was really playing in his own universe. I don't want to do that. It's too comic booky. I'll make it realistic. Where Iron Man was, we're going to do everything they do in the comic books, and we're going to make it fun and awesome, because that's what we're going to do. And no apologies. If you don't like what we're doing, you can kiss this $1 billion elsewhere. So
Paramount.
The X-Men films, the Spider-Man films, I think in large part were the result of people being starved for some kind of quality, decently made comic book movie film. So the first Spider-Man, people were really psyched and excited. I'm like, why is Spider-Man not talking? Why is he so quiet when he's in the mask?
Why is he taking off the mask every time possible?
Why does Green Goblin look like a Power Ranger villain? Like, these were real questions I was asking a lot of time. And I was kind of like, everybody likes these movies? Okay, well, all right. I did think that one scene in Spider-Man where he's flipping and dodging over goblins, bombs, and his throwing stars, that was awesome. That's the big moment I think about when I think of the movie. I don't think about the upside down kiss with Mary Jane. I just think of that one scene in Green Goblin's goofy outfit. I thought Tobey Maguire was good as Peter Parker. Shout out to Toby. I just watched The Great Gatsby last night. So good. I thought the X-Men movies were, I don't know what they were doing with those movies. I felt like Blade was awesome because Blade actually wears black leather, or that's something that makes sense for a vampire hunter. Not so for the X-Men, skulking around like they're rejects from the Matrix. And they had terrible dialogue. And I hated the cheap shot on the comic book looks. We're gonna excuse our Matrix outfits by saying, what do you expect? Yellow spandex?
Yeah. That was always the cheap shot that it was like, oh, we don't want to admit we're a comic book movie. It's like, okay, then comic book fans really shouldn't give you money because you want to crap on them. I mean, again, as we talk about other things that crap on their audience, that was one of those cheap shots crapping on their audience, and their audience should have been like, oh, word? Okay, cool. I mean, hell, Marvel should have been like, oh, you don't like, we should actually mandate in the next movie that you have not black leather outfits. Just to be like, you think you're funny.
Snake Eyes, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Jalen says it's all good. Okay. I don't want to ruin it for you.
David will pop in here and then he'll watch like, oh no, guys. I mean, honestly, I think there's enough stuff we can talk around the episode just based on things you saw last week that I think I think that it, I mean, we aren't saying what's going into a conclusion, but we can tell you really like they touch on, they're going to follow this, and I think we'll be good.
What's up, Afton Child?
What's going on, Afton?
Marvel fan, can you rank the X-Men 97 episodes so far, and you think episode 10 will be the best? I'm going to put a star on that so I can answer that in a second. Yeah. Key says you only need to try to make that whop of money with the animated X-Men and the true X-Men. True. What up, Spider fan? Watch Rocket Man over the weekend. Nice. All right, so let's get into this, and we'll be delicate with the spoilers. So Tolerance is Extinction is the 3-part finale to X-Men 97's first season. We don't have to stress out. We don't have to be like, oh no, are they gonna renew this thing? I love Lucha Underground. The first season was awesome. But after the first season, it was this, are they going to renew it for another season? And it was just like this nerve-wracking, come on, the show is awesome. I don't have to worry about that with X-Men 97. We already know season 2 is locked up. I think season 3 is done. I mean, not done, but like, yeah, go for it. And the rumor is they're working on season 4. So, yeah, I'm happy about this. Ryan Taylor, what's up? What up, fellas? Missed you the last couple of weeks. Ditto. Glad to see you here. So this feels like the season finale arc.
Oh my gosh.
Built on so much stuff that's developed over this entire season. And I love that it feels like a good 2-year stretch of X-Men comic books where so much stuff has happened, and now it's the big crossover event. There are no multiple X teams to incorporate, but it feels like, oh man, like the Dark Phoenix saga, there wasn't a bunch of X-Men books at that point, but it felt like it was building up on all these storylines. And I feel like for the first time, we've seen that with this cartoon series. I talked about this before with you. I really love the original cartoon. It was another case of cool, it's comic book stuff on TV, so I'm going to watch it. But I was so on my comic book guy watching it. Actually, that's not how that happened. This character shouldn't be here. What are they doing? So much. Like, why is this character a villain? What are you guys doing? Stop it. Stop just throwing in random X-Men stuff to make us excited.
Now, wasn't it half the thing they didn't want to, because they didn't have the characters? Like, say, if Angel was supposed to be in something, but Angel wasn't a featured X-Men, they tried to work around and then tried to shoehorn stuff. I mean, I know Angel was in it, but they tried to shoehorn, oh, this character should have been in it. Oh, Jubilee should be in it. It's like, no, that it's like, oh, Jubilee was part of Dark Phoenix. No, she wasn't. Like, come on. Like, so I kind of understood. If you asked me what was your favorite X-Men pre-97 episode, I'd be like, I can't tell you. If you asked me like a lot of cartoons, I'd be like, you want to ask my favorite Robotech, Gargoyles? I could do that easy. But if you asked me X-Men, it was on. Like, I couldn't say, oh, they were all great. I think X-Men 97 has done a very focused job of, we have the source material. we can use it.
Well, for me, it's easy with the original cartoon is the Phoenix Saga. I felt like that was one where, and I'm not like a super stickler. I don't care about the rosters. I just want the spirit of the story to be translated. And I felt like that was the only time they really did that well. I mean, there are some stuff. It felt like this stew of let's throw in anything and call it that storyline. It's like,
But,
wait, why are you trying to do this in one episode?
but,
Craziness.
but
But with
doesn't
this in the Phoenix Saga, I felt like they did a great job of here's the story. We're just gonna stick real true to it. They have Black Tom and Juggernaut in there. It's like, yes, you guys are doing it. X-Men 97, I feel like that with every episode. And I do stand by the fact that they rushed Inferno, which could have been awesome, but everything else has been really, really amazing.
Okay, so you're saying Magneto wasn't part of Dark Phoenix?
I'm just saying, well, the X-Men saga in the comic books was really long. It wasn't this thing where, all right, let's do it over a course of 6 months. Like it was built for a long time. So in some of that, X-Men battled Magneto. And that's when Magneto was like, oh shoot, this is not the regular Marvel girl. Her powers are rivaling my own. And that's with security checks and power checks put in place. So she was still getting to that next level. I didn't mind that. And they didn't overuse Magneto like the movies did.
Yeah.
Ryan says I haven't started 97 yet. Is it as good as a final season?
Can y'all hate on that daggone season? They just stopped y'all having to waste 9 hours from them traveling from episode to episode. It didn't take them 2 episodes to get anywhere. They just said, they're here, okay? Get out. Good. And I didn't actually know the lady who did the shame is a big player on Ted Lasso. I was like, who is this lady?
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame the fool. All right. Well, let's talk about what's going on here. Tolerance's extinction. Bastion reveals his master plan. He has inserted all kinds of prime sentinels amongst humanity, and they are now triggering. And it is so. I mean, I think he's done a great job. Bo DeMaio, the showrunner, who clearly has done some insidious things in another multiverse that Marvel won't even talk about in this one. Like he must be the Anti-Monitor, Apocalypse, Doctor Doom, Thanos, Darkseid, all rolled into one. Because they're in hushed terms about what this guy has done. That means he can't work on this anymore. I'm just waiting for the James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 reunion. Hey, just kidding. Bo's back for season 2 through 20. Like, this guy gets what makes the X-Men work, and in a way that I feel like maybe even some of the Marvel Studios live action directors and writers don't. Like Taka, Waititi, he didn't know anything about Thor. He was just like, man, have some fun. And because the Thor films have kind of been in this, whatever, you can try something different. Ragnarok was fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite fit the tone when you think about some of the stuff. Like, hate the way the Warriors 3 go out, but I liked enough of it that it was really fun. And that fun translated to a good movie. Love and Thunder is one of, no, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst in the MCU.
Right.
Eternals at least was trying to do something different. It failed.
It had its own story. And if they weren't in the MCU, it would have made a whole lot more sense. But they were in the they were almost constrained to being the MCU, and they couldn't actually figure out why they weren't part of anything.
The traveling was the best part.
Oh, let's see how many times we can be on the road. Hey, oh gosh.
The woman from Ted Lasso, Shame, is Hannah Waddingham, and she is awesome, amazing singer, and also the best part of Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
are you watching Ted now?
No, it's on Apple Plus. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't know that until I think she was on some TV show. I'm like, oh, that's her. Okay, now it makes more sense why she's selling cookies. Okay, cool.
But the internet is undefeated. They find out everything. Was it just that Disney has a habit of firing folks on the regular? I mean, like, it's this is, and I felt the same way about the James Gunn. I mean, the James Gunn thing I thought was stupid. do your work beforehand. And if it's so egregious, then don't hire him in the first place. But if it's really just about this OnlyFans, I'm gonna have a talk with everyone who's making decisions at Disney, because this dude is way too talented for y'all to be like, oh, his side hustle is not great. I'm sorry.
I mean, again, are we really going to begrudge a person for having a part-time job?
You know what?
The fact that this stuff has not leaked is really kind of what gets me. I mean, the fact, even with James Gunn, there was always, you had some Hollywood reporter that was leaked, that or had news why this person was let go. And it's not a scenario where Disney's like, hey, we're not saying anything, so we don't get sued, very, very much like Gina Carano. But it's, no one has else corroborated, here's what we think. Here's any pictures on why we think he's let go. None of that stuff has come out. So I think Disney has this plausible deniability no matter what. To say, hey, there was a great reaction to the show. I mean, I just looked on IMDb. It's still a 9 out of 10. I think you have
some haters that are lowering that score to just 9 out of 10.
Again, even in 9 out of 10, if I can end my first season 9 out of 10 with one showrunner, that probably means that's the person directing where the story goes. And I don't know if he did season 2 and 3. I think I gotta really if I can't have you back as straight up showrunner, can I get you as a something credit where you still do all the work, we pay you all the money, but you don't get that title? And I don't know if the union would be okay with that, but I think you have to figure out, can we bring this guy back? And I think the answer has to be yes.
All right, so let's get into the episode. So,
okay.
Bastion unleashes his Prime Sentinels and everything goes crazy. And I feel like what we saw in part 1 was really cool, because so often with movies and TV shows with comic characters, there's that, oh man, things are really dangerous. Who knows what's gonna happen? But after the Genosha thing, it's really well, they may not make it. They may not survive. And we can't take for granted that characters that we like can get killed. And while I hate that some of the characters I like got killed, it gives the show and it gives all these major dangerous action sequences that thing that we didn't ever really get before. I will scream up and down and say, just because Quicksilver got killed doesn't make me think any of the other Avengers are going to get killed. It means that Josh Whedon's a moron for thinking the speedster is going to get killed seeing someone shoot at him. That's ridiculous. But here, it's, well, I mean, they even took care of the time travel. Sorry, that's not an option. We're not going to have some magic. Hey, everything's fine because of time travel. Nope. You have to come up with something else, player. These folks are dead. And because of that, when these Sentinels are attacking Cyclops and Jean Grey and Cable's like, well, somebody might get taken out. And just that sense of thrill of, well, this looks bad. How are they going to get out of it? Has a lot more meaning than whatever.
And I remember some of these comics, but not knowing, okay, someone still has to make it. I think Gambit, it's not having certain characters, major characters survive. You're like, oh, even if I remember what a story used to be, they have changed it 100%. That the stakes are higher. And it's, I think when you see Bastion, his implementing his plan, it's okay. They're probably not when I was watching the episode, I just said, okay, not everybody's making it. It felt very similar to how I felt with Green Arrow season finale, when I'm like, oh, there's no way all these guys are making it. But unlike that, I believe some of these people are not going to make it. And it's going to be very surprising when we see the conclusion, what happens.
Marvel fan says, I cannot believe Gambit is dead. There's no way of bringing him back. Still processing. That's crazy. Well, I mean, it's based on a comic book where no one stays dead, especially the X-Men, for any long amount of time. But the fact that time travel has been taken off the board, where we've got Bishop, we've got Cable. It's like, what are you going to do? And how does that happen? And maybe it doesn't happen until, say, season 3 or season 4. But the fact that there's no shortcut, there's no easy out so far, it's way more intriguing to me. And it makes every action scene where they're going against somebody that's a threat, it boosts that level of credibility so much more because, like, well, kill Gambit in episode 5 and a bunch of other mutants that we know. Who's to say this villain won't kill Beast right here?
Yeah. Again, as a showrunner says, you ain't seen nothing yet. And that was after episode 5. And it was like, oh, okay. So you were that, if you want to get a little heart palpitation, that was it. It's like, oh, okay. My favorite character may not make it out of this season. And kind of how you
I know my favorite character is going to make it out of this season. No way they're killing Cyclops. Bo seems like a fan of Cyclops.
It's the funny thing you said it. I'm just like, after this episode, I'm just like,
nah.
I don't see it.
He gets it.
I don't see it. There's a part of me. I'm just, Cyclops has kind of filled his role in this joint. If they took him out, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they should, but
they're not. You're a hater. Stickman says, do you think they may introduce more as House of X, Powers of X twists in later seasons? I hope not. Not unless they consult with Jonathan Hickman to actually pull off his vision of it, because I was reading it at first, but then it just went like off the rails to the mountain and exploded and then blew up and then died all over again. So I am not like, oh, I hope they do that. But if they did, they probably do it better. It's one of those cases where an adaptation may be better than the source material. So I think there's better X-Men stories to tackle than that one, which I think it's too convoluted to bother trying. And I think they've done a great job on stories already to try to incorporate that deal.
Yeah, because if you've watched where the cartoon has been, you probably know where the next couple stories can come from, and I think just sticking around in that era is way better, especially in the '97 versus trying to use some of the more modern ones that are overly complicated. So what was your, and as we're saying, we're trying to go as spoiler free as possible. What did you, what's the next thing that kind of got you like, okay, this is kind of a big deal?
Let's see. So the big deal for part 1 was that Wolverine fight. And I've said one of the absolute best things of X-Men 97 is keeping Wolverine in the corner, making him the psycho berserker, the guy who's making the smart tail remarks and every so often popping off and going back to the corner. He's not got the spotlight all on him. It's not the Wolverine and his amazing, uncanny friends. It's keeping Wolverine in the back. So when it's time to give Wolverine a big moment, like unleashing the claws, fighting like a madman against these Prime Sentinels, he's amazing. And that sequence where he's just ripping through, and he can't beat all these Prime Sentinels just being Wolverine. He's the best he is. What he does is very nice, but he's still not stopping. Like, he's going after him. They're beating him down. He's fighting back. It's great. It's a perfect use of Wolverine. This show understands how to use him, and every way they've utilized Wolverine has been ideal. The way they should do him in the movies, but they won't. And Nightcrawler right there with him in that fight. See, somebody who got into X-Men reading right before the Mutant Massacre, and at the same time reading classic X-Men and learning about this original second team from jump. I have a real connection to the Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Banshee, Phoenix era of the X-Men. So watching these two actually fight in a way that we can't see them on a movie, but just going at it like Nightcrawler with 3 swords using his tails, another arm, that was awesome. And then seeing how his teleportation in a fight would work, and actually what his teleportation looks like on the other side, that was amazing.
Yeah, we had Wolverine in there, like, oh, okay, and then he pops right back out. Just I'm used to this. This is you as a viewer see it for the first time, but it's not disoriented for Wolverine. Wolverine's like, ready to go. It was, I think, seeing, was it like when you saw all the Prime Sentinels and some of the people were Prime Sentinels, you're just like, how many people signed up for this program not even knowing about it? Like, you very much get the system that Bastion's been doing this, has been laying the groundwork for this for years. Very much because I like, especially after you like, I know they're probably gonna go to Genosha, and then you find out he's like, I got something for this. I've been waiting for this.
I love the sequence with his mother. It seemed really creepy, but then for her to turn into a Prime Sentinel was like, whoa, dude. Because it was like, oh, you turned your mama into one of these things too. That was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think, and I liked how they did, and I think that was the cool thing is they did when Gene gave his backstory. You didn't feel for him. You just like, oh, that's why you've done these things. It doesn't make you sympathetic. But
no. And did you start to follow Bo DeMaio on Twitter?
No, I don't follow anybody on Twitter.
Okay. He's really great to follow right now because he's providing running commentary. I think he's live stream talking to fans when the new episode drops at 3 a.m. East Coast time. And so he was saying how much of a fan he is of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. So that moment where Bastion's in the classroom, that's his shout out to Man of Steel, where Clark starts to hear everything. I was like, that was what I was thinking from it. And they're doing all kinds of cool things. Like, so we see that sequence in while his mom is showing all the stuff. That drawing is a shot that we saw way earlier when Madeline, I think it was episode 2, when she's falling, and there's that child drawing of a house. That's Bastion's drawing. So she's seeing stuff that's going to happen. She has no context for it, but there's all kinds of foreshadowing, which means going back over when this is all done next week, it's going to be really fun to revisit just to see how much foreshadowing, how many clues were being dropped throughout before the big reveal. And I'm like, oh man, it's all tied together. Like that original MCU tagline, it's all connected. It feels like that with X-Men 97.
In fact, Bastion's in every episode. You're like, oh, I think he is. Because you think you've seen somebody like him, and then you're like, now I have to go out. I mean, especially after the season's over, you're definitely going to go watch. And I'm sure that Disney also is very happy about it. It's like, this isn't one of our usual one and done. These people are going to revisit this series after Solo. Even the people who've watched it before, there's going to be rewatchability, and I think they're going to love that.
Yeah. Blake says, like what I was feeling in every episode of Invincible. Anyone can die a horrible death, but I had no previous connection to that hero universe. Yeah, I think that's definitely true because I think clearly there are more X-Men fans than Invincible fans, and taking that big, all right, let's see what happens. Let's test the waters by killing one of the more popular 90s X-Men. And I think that had all the impact they wanted. It didn't feel cheap. It felt like, yeah, I guess that would have happened. And because Gambit has such a great send-off final moment, that lasting final shot where Rogue's like, I can't feel it. Oh man, still gives me chills thinking about that moment and everything that's happened as a result of that.
And also, great. I do think this is great. It's been 5 episodes. There's no, oh, he's back to cheapen the death. I think it is
5 episodes later when he comes back. If he comes back,
if somehow you make it in the season finale, I think that's enough time to let it. That's been 5 weeks. I mean, oh, okay. I've had that time to kind of, oh shoot, he's gone. And then if you bring him back, that'd be cool. But I don't want him back. I think it's better to let it be.
All right, James. I don't know. I haven't tried to look for much stuff. Really, I'm just like here for the ride. I know we've got another season coming, but I'm trying to keep away from it. as far as all the information. I've been enjoying Tamayo because he's not spoiling anything. He's just like, oh, and here's something else to look for as you revisit it.
Yeah. James, I think they're dropping hints that it's being filmed. They got to season 2, and I think they're already going to season 3. And they're saying, hey, we're not going to have an Invincible style where it takes 2 years to go out. It's not going to be a year, 10 episodes, then you got to wait a year to get another 10. I think they're going to be doing a much more like here's season 2, and then maybe, I don't know. I'm just guesstimating 3 or 4 months, then get your next season.
So hopefully we'll see it like that. Marvel fan, when this show finishes, I'm straight away rewatching. I have not rewatched any episodes, so it'll be a nice refresher. I haven't rewatched many either. I rewatched the Genosha one, and I rewatched this week because I wanted to make sure I wrote down the dialogue properly for my review. And the dialogue in this every episode, somebody has a great killer line. They need to bring out Spider-Man while X-Men is on vacay. And when Spider-Man's finished, they need to bring back Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I wish we had a couple more episodes, 2 to 5 more. I mean, I'm with you. I want more, but I'd rather it be of this quality. And I think they've done an excellent job with the quality in telling a story that's 10 episodes. Yeah. So, when the next season comes around, hopefully we'll get the same quality, another 10 excellent episodes. I'd rather that than, this episode was weak. This one, it was okay. I don't want a deal where they're dipping back and forth in quality. I just want what we've gotten so far from this one.
Yeah. I mean,
First Mighty Heroes would be great.
Yeah, it's always going to be especially in our streaming age, I'd much rather have the Netflix version of shows than the broadcast 22 episodes. And you got like I said, the yo-yo version. Give me 13 good episodes versus 22. I could skip this episode. So I think as I was watching The Bad Batch, the episode before this season series finale, I'm like, you could skip that. I was actually a little disappointed, but this one has been, you don't skip any episodes.
You'd asked me about some of the surprises for last week's episode. So I was going back while you were talking to revisit my review, and knowing that I can fully talk about this now. The super major one was that Dr. Doom was working with Bastion and Baron Zemo was there. Speaking of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, it was like, oh shoot, we got real other players from the Marvel Universe, not just within the bubble of the X-Men, collaborating with this main threat, this super deal. And I'm like, yo, don't tease me with a good time with Baron Zemo, who had dudes behind him suggesting that he's with the Masters of Evil. That was cool. And Dr. Doom actually sounded cool. I always feel like that's important to get his voice down, because the guy who did him back for the Fantastic Four second season cartoon, he was great. And I don't need anyone else to do that voice unless they can get it down that perfect.
That when you use, okay. The fact you actually had a bigger MCU, it's Bastion. I also thought I would remind you, Bastion's not a humanitarian. He's bad. He's working with the worst people. I think that was also reinforced. Like, no, he's the bad guy. Like, get that in your head. He's been talking to Dr. Doom and Baron Zemo, the giant fascists. Like, do not think he's anywhere near. He's going to have humanitarian utopia in his mind. It's not going to happen.
He wiped out Genosha. He's not thinking about anybody on that end. So let me see here. The voice actor for Bastion is Theo James, who you might remember from Divergent. And the ironic thing was, way back, like years ago, I think like 2014, before the MCU was getting convoluted and we can't bring the X-Men in, I was like, Theo James would be a great cast live action Cyclops. He would be awesome for that. But he's really done a great job. Magneto is Matthew Watterson, and Lenore Zahn is doing Rogue. Lenore Zahn is the actress who voiced Rogue back in the day. So she's continuing to do a great job with this role.
Yeah. I was finding like Theo James, some of the roles he actually takes in live action are kind of like, it's hit or miss. Oh, you went to Divergent. but you hearing his voice, I'm like, this dude sounds like he's cool. Like, and he's
Yeah.
like, yes, I actually am.
And I agree. He does have a non-grandmaster Jeff Goldblum vibe, and very calculating, menacing, not doing this big monologue, but he is just like, yo, who is, it's like, this guy sounds threatening. Who voiced Baron Zemo? Let's see. I'll have to go back to IMDb and see if they're actually listed. When I checked earlier, they thankfully were not ruining, like putting all the spoilers of people who were doing voice acting. Let's see if I can find out.
Additional voice morph.
Huh?
I'm looking at it and seeing if
Rama Valerie.
man, Rose McQuine is actually Professor X.
Ross does solid work, man. He is great.
And anybody who does voice acting, I love when they actually change their voice. You don't, I mean, you get hints of their voice, but you don't know 100% that's who that is. Like Jennifer Hale, you don't know if Jennifer Hale is doing something. Jennifer Hale has so many voices. You're just like, I think they could. Nah. You have to look at the credits and you're like, of course it's Jennifer Hale. Of course, it makes perfect sense. You never know. Oh, that's totally her.
Right. All right. So let's see here. Some other ones. Oh, did you catch the Iron Man nod with the Stark Expo poster?
I know. I missed that.
Yeah. So when they're going to Bastion's house, there's a Stark Expo little postcard or something, or flyer. It was great. Oh, let's see. And I'm trying to think. I'm going through my notes real fast / review. And let me see. Is there anything else?
The Summers family battle.
So Dwayne was like, did he really drop a jet to get in a Porsche? I'm like, of course. The Blackbird was about to be destroyed. They were on the wings. It's not like he could keep flying it. It was going to crash. So, yeah, I thought the Porsche was fun.
Yeah. It also makes sense that once they land a jet, hypersonic jet, they need a car to get around. So
exactly.
It's like we've got probably people paying donations, I mean, sadly, to keep their kids out of the spotlight, which probably gets you a Porsche budget. And, you know, Professor X is probably rich, and there is Warren Worthington.
It's not a Porsche, Chase. Not a Porsche. All right. Marvel fan says, does anyone want Bishop to return? He has way too little screen time. So, interesting thing on that. Bo DeMaio tweeted that there is a reason we have not seen much of Bishop. So that's kind of intriguing. Like, oh, okay, there's a reason. He didn't just casually stop being part of the series. So I'm fine as long as there's a reason. I trust that there's a purpose for that.
So Bo has gotten your trust that I can trust you can do a good job.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, have you not been watching the show? It's been great. I mean, and just the little touches, like throwing Bastion in every episode, the nods to older storylines, incorporating them in a way that makes sense. It's like, I feel the same level of trust with what he's done with X-Men as I do with the Russo brothers anytime they touch a Marvel Cinematic Universe project. Let's see. I did think on last week's show, I was tripping on the fact that Storm was not there. They did kind of explain why she didn't just pop up right away, but I'll get to that. That's not a spoiler.
Because she'd have to go across the world. Because she'd have to go across the world, maybe?
No. I mean, they explained it to my satisfaction. Because I was like, Storm could get there. She just summons a really heavy, strong wind. Bam. And then I like the fact that Val was associated with Bastion. I thought that was cool because she's been kind of shady, but it was like, oh, she's super shady and working with this guy all along, where it felt like she was sort of conflicted. Like, do I want to go this route? Maybe not. Maybe the X-Men aren't so bad. Even Magneto's not that bad. And then to find out that she's the one that freed Magneto. Excuse me. So there's an X-Men cover where the Reavers string up and capture Wolverine to really drive home how intimidating and how serious a threat they are. And on the cover, it's a really iconic X-Men cover at this point. Mark Silvestri drew it. Wolverine's hanging like this, and he's making an X on where he's strung up. So it's not a cross, not a symbol like like Stone Cold with
Mhm.
Undertaker's cross symbol. So they've got that, and they've got Magneto doing the same thing. This and it's like, this is so cool. Have you seen the meme with Puffy seeing Magneto going?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, then she frees him, and I felt like Magneto triggering the EMP was not a major cop out. It was like, yes, that's exactly what he would do. And he's the ultimate trump card in this situation. It didn't feel like we just needed Magneto to get broken out by Val to save the day.
Mm.
No, he did. And then Wolverine's like, this ain't great because now they're gonna come for it. It's even harder.
I mean,
And
here's it, and this now we can talk about this. I love when they actually. I mean, this is not. This is done mostly in a PG air comic book style, but it is not afraid to tackle big topics. And when you saw Magneto's arm, you knew 100%. Like, nope, you know what we're talking about. If you aren't, we understand from '97 to now. You grew up and understand what you should know what we're talking about here.
He's a Holocaust survivor.
It's like it's not even. It's like yes, he's a Holocaust survivor, and he has seen crap like this before.
I recently watched Hangover, and Alan's like, oh, I didn't know they gave out rings there. Oh man, that movie's so funny. But there, oh wow, that line was really funny at that point.
Yeah, but when they do that, it's very much like, hey, we understand you grow. I mean, you grow up. You need to know that this happened. And Magneto was like, I've seen this crap before. I was there as a kid. This trauma, and I've seen the worst of humanity. And I've been telling Professor Charles Xavier, this is really what humanity is, because I've seen the worst of it. And again, I keep getting proven right. This is like, and I think that this is where me and you had that conversation today. It's like, I don't think they prove Magneto wrong yet. I think he's like, hey, I'm looking out for the people you guys keep screwing over. You guys, we can do whatever we do, and you never have our back.
All right, so now again,
this is where the Captain America, Cap, what the heck? You know this is wrong. There should have been, all the Avengers should have been in Genosha condemning this, but you're on the sideline. Okay, now you got most of, gosh knows how much of humanity is a prime Sentinel. Y'all still not doing anything. Okay, I'm taking this out of my hand. I'm taking this. I'm doing it.
So, also, I forgot to mention the randomness of the Spider-Man cameo, which is really cool during the Pulse. I was kind of wondering, we're going to see Doctor Strange, because that would have made sense too. But we don't need to get too spoiled with all the Marvel cameos. It is Magneto's world. We're just living in it, and Magneto's world is now overrun with magnetic pulse waves. And Wolverine's like, this would be a great time for Professor X to show up. Crash lands to me, my X-Men. There's a funny meme going around. Xavier only summoned his smart X-Men, Storm, Beast, Jean, and Scott, which is funny. But
and I'm sure a lot of those other guys were X-Men today. Like, now you need to have not just the A team and B team. You probably need an all hands on deck one on this one.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. Late spoiler time on part 2, today's episode. As good as I thought last week was, this was even better. And yeah, I just feel like this is delivering X-Men in a way that I've never seen before. Frustrated watching the X-Men cartoon because it's like, oh man, the story's so good and you guys aren't doing a good job of bringing it to the cartoon. To watching the X-Men movies going, good gosh, what are y'all doing? Cyclops is not a loser. He's the leader. It's the wrong L that you're going with him for. He's great. Y'all are terrible for how you treat my man Cyclops. And I mean, it's like they're showing him in costumes, and I'm like, okay, time for me to do a video on the top 10 X-Men 97 figures I want to see Hasbro do with Marvel Legends style right now. Don't tell me we're not getting another wave. I need more ASAP.
And the fact that they came out with the X-Men 97 figures before the show was released. So they see the marketability here. It's okay.
No.
I
They
mean,
know.
again, this is if you're talking, okay, why can't we duplicate? I mean, this is like times we have board meetings. Like, why can't we duplicate this in live action? This doesn't actually make sense.
Well, we're gonna break that down in a second because I've got all the reasons why they can't do it. So,
You've got thoughts?
I've got thoughts. I've got both warm and hot takes on it. But I mean, it was just so cool seeing Storm and Forge come through. It's like, oh, that's why she had to carry his tail and had to go super slow or had to actually drive. I'm like, finally, okay, that's good enough. And then everybody's back at the mansion, and I'm peeping the costumes. I'm like, wait, Sunspot's Roberto's rocking a New Mutant outfit. Awesome. I mean, that was his default outfit for years. Seeing him in, it's like, great, I want that figure, make that happen. We had Rogue rocking her Secret Wars original attire, and I'm like, yes, make that a figure. And she's rocking Gambit's trench coat, and that felt like something so classic comic book style, where it's like, oh man, that's awesome. So when you guys do her, Hasbro, make that trench coat cloth so she can swap it and take it off. Because I was like, this is such a cool way to do that. And she's literally carrying her grief on her shoulders. Magneto goes back to his classic, I am a supervillain because I hate you, all you humanity. I hate you. Don't even know you, but I hate you. That was awesome. Putting on the helmet felt like a real moment where it's like all the pretense of Magneto trying to do this thing like Xavier wanted is gone. And he's putting the helmet on. I was like,
that's and it's also, he's like, oh man, I can hear that Charles is back. Okay. We're not, what I need to do, I gotta make sure he's not in my head.
In my head. Wish they do it. I mean, they could do it. They had to make a Cable figure. We do kind of sort of have that Cable figure for the Kazar Zabu wave. So we kind of have that Cable. I'm all right with that. Is that Rogue costume accurate though? It has white trim instead of like green trim. The white is accurate. I think it has light green in the cartoon. I can steadily paint white because that might be as close as I get to getting that outfit. But oh man, I saw them say, gimme. That's what I've been asking for years. So close now that she's got media spotlight and attention on her first and arguably her best costume. So yeah, I want the new look for Cable. Cable's got so many outfits that I'm sure they'll get around to it, but I felt like watching this, they're now on the wave 8 of Marvel Legend X-Men 97 figures. It was like, all right, guys, we're here. And it's time to start cranking out more of these figures because I want them.
There it is.
Huh?
I was like, somebody put it on Reddit. It's like they usually have, she's got a white stripe in the middle of it, or is it inside? Yeah,
it's pretty close.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I remember it from the car like today. I'm like, it looks very similar to it. It didn't look like a Green Lantern costume.
As Cyndi Lauper once said, it's good enough for me. That Cable from the Tiger that I cannot spell, Zabu, sold out everywhere, but I might get it off Nerdzoic or Big Bets. Is it sold out on Amazon? I felt like it wasn't. One wave should be them in the classic gear. So I love the fact that they had the classic gear sitting up like the Bat Cave. I was like, oh, that's cool. Look at the old school costumes. I was like, that's great. And then when they're like reaching, I'm like, wait, what? I was like, oh, we're really having this happen right now? That was really cool. And this is in the trailer teaser that they put out. So hopefully not spoiling that for anybody. But oh man, that was really cool to actually see these costumes. Because I was saying earlier, I love for them to do a flashback episode so we could see these pictures from back in the day, and then to actually get it. And then we got Cyclops going, all right, You guys are with me with blue team. You guys are gold team. I was like, yes, Scott, be that leader, homie. It was really, really cool to see the team split. We had enough X-Men finally that they could split the team because this squad has been losing members since episode 1. And they've actually got enough reinforcements now where we can split the team. We've got Morph. I won't say what Morph who Morph goes into this time, but it was really cool. And we got the fight with Bastion. And I will say that sending the telekinetic into a bowling alley made for one of my unexpected, awesome fight scenes. Oh man, complete with sound effects. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then going to Asteroid M with the other squad. Come on, man. It was I felt like, and Bo has been really cool about posting, like after each episode, hey, here's your reading assignment for this week. So he understands the whole get people to read the comic books to help feed the source material, which in turn feeds these cartoons, these movies. So that was cool. It was like, here's your homework assignment for this week. And
that should be standard practice. I mean, and again, that's why I get on I mean, I talk about Marvel so bad. It's like you should have your people read it, then you make your adaptation, and then you have the people like, hey, did you like my adaptation? Here's where you go. Here's the story. I mean, because that was like when Civil War came out. It was you knew this was based on a comic. Then you could critique, was this one better or not? Versus some of the later projects, like where are y'all coming with on this? Oh, I'm sure they're gonna make that one.
They better. I mean, the one we got was cool.
No. That's not even a no-brainer. That is a you must do this. Like God, I mean, especially because the initial one they came out with in the original release of the figures was X-Men 97, Mohawk, Storm. And then this one, it's nope, need that as a figure. Not even a question.
Yeah. And hopefully a little taller because, Storm, I don't know why artists have started shrinking her over the years, but originally she was taller than Cyclops and only looking up at Colossus. Yeah. So I'd be happy with that.
I mean, she's like a goddess height. She's not your normal. I mean, she's kind of how Wonder Woman typically is. I mean, some folks draw Wonder Woman taller than everybody. She's a dang near goddess. She's like 6'7". She's not normal person height. She's not model height. She's taller than most. So, to answer that, there's a strong possibility. He was in there.
Cable is still available for pre-order on Lyle's Figure Files affiliate Entertainment Earth. My man Jamelin. And here you go. There's a direct link to the cable on Lyle's Figure Files, Lyle's Movie Files affiliate Entertainment Earth. So there you go. Thank you, Jamelin. Appreciate the plug, my friend. Yeah. So lots of great stuff. I'm not going to spoil the big ending of this. This cliffhanger was just like, oh my gosh. The only sucky thing, we're just getting one more episode. Yeah. And we got to wait a little while. So we'll see what happens. But I think I'm ready now to call it that this is one of the best single seasons of any comic book show that they produced. And yeah, it'd be great if it was 20 to really match up against some of the other contenders, but the quality has been so good that even with a shorter season, I'm ready and willing to move it up to, right at least top 5. What are your thoughts on that?
Man. I mean, I know we had this discussion a while back. I'm like, all right, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, pretty much, especially in the Marvels, I think that's the best one. I mean, one of the best ones. In early Young Justice, same. But this one is I'm gonna watch this season. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna be before I rewatch it, but there is not going to be 6 months before I rewatch this again. I'm going to watch it again within a month and enjoy, and I will probably enjoy the heck out of it just as much. So that's not a provocative statement to say it's one of the best cartoon shows that it's what we've seen.
Why don't you stir up some controversy? Greatest ever. After Child, I'm with you. I'm happy that Bo knows his source material and just sticks to it. I mean, the source material is there for a reason. Use it. I beg of you.
Yeah, I'm like, it's hard for me to get past. You know, I still think you got to deal with Cadmus. Justice League Unlimited Cadmus. I think that's my top.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was a great art.
Yeah,
What
I
do we
might
watch
say,
now?
I enjoy this, but I don't think you're getting that, and I don't think you're. So far, they haven't gotten past. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I think they beat Young Justice's Cadmus either. Just
They
because,
were really, but I also think they benefit from having longer seasons that were really good through that stretch. It wasn't like all of a sudden it
yeah.
got bad.
I mean,
It
because
was really good.
and
Yeah.
also, I mean, they did, let's say 13, 14 episodes are really good, and they had maybe one or two that weren't great, but because the arc overall was really good, you just I can pass it. This has been out of so far 10, or is it 10 episodes, or we're at 9?
We're at 9 episodes.
Okay.
Next week is season finale.
So out of 9 episodes, only one was just okay. I mean, and that's a high praise for a show. If you want to give my 9 out of 10, that's, I mean, you're 8 out of 9. So I'm pretty sure the 10th is going to stick the landing.
Yeah, exactly. What do we watch now, David? Maybe Acolyte, but I'm I've got my concerns about that one.
That's not happening.
All right.
You're nicer than me. I'm not watching it. Mess.
I'll give it a few episodes, see what I think.
Good luck.
All right. So do we need, and how can live action X-Men do better than X-Men 97? This is a really dramatic. I mean, you were like, oh man.
No, because I mean, the funny thing is we've talked about this offline, and it's like, okay, X-Men 97 has right now 6.5 hours of show. And that's hard for a movie to even get up to speed with. So how do you say, all right, we've already done bad X-Men movies that have left a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, if you mess with us at First Class, then we screwed it up with Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. And then you're like,
you had Days of Future Past. You skipped that one.
Days of Future Past. I mean, again, I'm sorry if I did. Days of Future Past, correct. You're like, oh, thank you. You've corrected some of the garbage we saw. Woo, thank you. And then you gave us Apocalypse, and I still have not seen Dark Phoenix. You mentioned something about Dark Phoenix, which
let's watch it.
I'm still questioning that. Watch it.
It'd be great.
But it's an odd. If anybody would like in the chat would like to consider that is a watch along, let us know.
Oh no, Jamie. No, not First Class, not great X-Men. We're to watch X-Men Dark Phoenix because Jace hasn't watched it, and there's at least one cool scene in it. And I'm not lying. It's probably, if not the best, it's right in the top 3 of the best fight scenes in any of the X-Men movies. That's all it's got, though. Everything else is trash. But I thought, well, there's another good part.
Yeah, I think I remember the other part you say is good, and it has nothing to do with anything actual good in the episode.
It's good. It's awesome.
All right.
Blake, Marvel should do the same thing as they did with X-Men 97 and Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and Avengers.
No, I mean, honestly, I'm still like Fantastic Four is good. They don't have to compete with a version of 97. I think 97, X-Men 97 makes it a whole lot harder to make an X-Men movie. Like, all right, where do you start an X-Men franchise? I mean, do you act like the early ones happen and you're starting and new? Or that means you got to hire an older cast to potentially play X-Men. That's going to be harder. What is it? You have to, if you're starting from scratch, how far do you start from scratch? Do you start with the X-Men first team and then go from a movie there? Okay, that's an origin story. Is everybody going to really be feeling? You have to make so many decisions versus how X-Men 97, here's our whole team. We start, you watch it, come on in. It's super hard. I don't envy directors when you're like, Yeah, I gotta follow this. Thanks, guy. I'm glad you fired him.
I think their best approach is to excuse me, to I think we're safe on the Marvels now, to use the multiverse concept in a world where the X-Men have existed for a long time and use Secret Wars to plunk them into the existing MCU where the X-Men have their history. And because this new master race arrives on Earth, it sets up all the panic and distrust of mutants as they try to make their place in this world. Like, what is this? We're used to being the heroes of our world, and just act like they've had this long history, and maybe take 15 20 X-Men and just start using them as your entire thing. And then, hey, who knew, because of the arrival of this pocky group of X-Men to the regular 616 MCU Earth, other mutants are starting to develop their powers because of this surge of mutants arriving here.
Okay, so you're saying, let's just say, Kamala Khan is like, yeah, that's why you've actually.
Why would you use her as your first mutant? Why would she be your first one?
Because hey, I've read comics that they're thinking about making her a big focus of the universe, but also because at one point she was an Inhuman, and then now she's a mutant. Now I don't know where they are in the comic book now. I know she's switched between both, factions.
She's a mutant now because the Inhumans TV show was abysmal and it did not work. So, let's make her to our other popular franchise because now it's open and available to us to make movies on again. So, no, with Kamala, I'm talking like X-Men. I mean,
okay.
No.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, you have familiarity with Kamala, and then when using your scenario, it's like, okay, we can drop, like, when she understands, oh, you've always been a mutant, but now that all this mutant energy is here, your powers you don't actually need those bangles half as much because you could always do that. That's why your body could do it.
I don't think people care about Kamala to the extent of tying the X-Men to her. Maybe mention it later.
It worked for Wolverine.
Yeah,
she's the most important X-Men ever. Come on.
No.
Come on in. Come on.
And no.
All right. That's an I.
Hey, that Dazzler scene was cool, Jalen Blake. So yeah, we should watch it. I think you're gonna love it.
Wait, I think you guys are lying to me.
Dwayne just texted me. I can't tell you what he said on air, but I will give you the initials of what he said. H and F. Put it together.
I think I know what he's actually saying.
You able to read my mind there? Yeah.
I've talked to him. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's actually, he's watching. He's like, no. I had to come in and actually text you, like, no, don't do this. Don't do this to the people.
Yeah. It's all about the people. So, yeah, I think that's their best way to make it like the X-Men were the Avengers, the superheroes on their Earth. They come here, they set up some sort of surge that creates more mutants because the power levels of Homo's superior are now triggering other people who didn't know they're mutants. But it's this great mutant surge. It becomes this phenomena. Has the surge turned your child into a mutie? I think that could work and then fester that whole anti-mutant hysteria that's such a core element to the X-Men. Make them uneasy with being on Earth. Hey, Avengers, why aren't you having our backs like you were on our Earth? Yeah, there's that multiverse aspect to it, but we'll have to work through it because if the mutants existed, why weren't y'all here helping us fight Thanos? Making them heroes on another Earth, now acclimating to this thing, and like, what is happening? Why do people hate us because they're mutants? I think that could work. Maybe that's their approach.
All right, so yeah, that's what we kind of assuming they're going to do with the Fantastic Four. We're still in the multiverse saga. Let's incorporate because all this stuff doesn't make sense. That's an idea. I mean, because you definitely have to have the mutant fear has to be real. If you don't have that, it's you miss half the part of mutants. It's
I
you
actually
have,
kind of like that idea though, because it's like how the Flash did it on the TV show, where all of a sudden all these whack metas started popping up. But I think that's a way. So let's see here. Maybe you do like Cyclops, Jean, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Beast, Storm, of course, Bishop, Gambit. Did I already say Rogue? If not, Rogue. So get those 10. And then Magneto, Emma Frost, Sebastian Shaw, Sinister, and Apocalypse.
okay. So you got your
Thanks for hanging, Marvel fan. Huh?
I say, do you get your who? I mean, if you were, who would be your first villain that you would have him fight? It's not Magneto. So
I'm gonna go with Mystique. No, Sinister, because Sinister could be the catalyst to take advantage of the surge of New Mutants populating and then start manipulating their minds, making them become evil. He and Apocalypse are like, let's create a real survival of the fittest thing. And you experiment on them, and I'll send them out to the masses, and we'll have this fight between mutants and humanity.
Yeah,
that's actually easy.
Okay, here and this is something I'm not sure of, and this might be something I'm a little confused based on the cartoon. Is and remembering way too much some parts of the comic, is Mr. Sinister a mutant?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so he would work with Apocalypse. Okay, I got it. Because I thought at some point he's not a mutant and he's doing weird stuff to either fight mutants or something else.
How does that sound like the Hunger Games?
You said they're going out and fighting. Like letting, like you said, have Mr. Sinister create, amp up the villains and then send them out into the world, and then the X-Men go and fight them.
Yeah, the survival of the fittest thing is Apocalypse Creed, where I send them out to see if my evil mutants can defeat these X-Men. If not, they weren't fit to be part of my new world order. So that's that.
Wait, I'm sorry, who's
Since Jeff was my pick, I suggest Nimrod.
Yeah, he's the one who has his horseman. It's always Apocalypse horseman. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm always down for the Sentinels, but I think you need to have them around for a while to really build up is your neighbor a mutant? I think that hysteria has to build. And I think if you do it appropriately, then like say the third movie, then the Nimrod, the Sentinel showing up really is like, oh, they're really taking it there. So I like Nimrod. I think he's a cool villain, but yeah, do that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, maybe that's the way they could do it. I was like, I don't know. I can't think of a way. There you go. Jamlin says, make the writers watch Pride of the X-Men, make them read Uncanny 273. Those both effectively introduce the characters to a new audience, but are not origin stories. Yes.
Yeah, we definitely can't do an origin story.
Sigman, I don't think Sinister is a mutant. He's a human that altered his genetics of mutant DNA. Thank you.
That's what it was.
Did anybody hear the MCU is about to change? The Rock is rumored. Yeah, rumored by who? I mean, I read it too. Yeah, but they could always say that stuff. I mean, literally anybody can start a rumor. I heard such and such. I try not to go too much on that.
Well, I'm thinking if you were to lay a groundwork for, hey, because Apocalypse is definitely somebody who's a villain that would be around, and if we were doing a X-Men universe, he's always going to be around. So this wouldn't be a one-off movie. You would always be if you were pitching The Rock, like, hey, we give you very much like Ted Adam. He is not, but you are the bad guy, but you are also, in one regard, you don't think you're the bad guy. You think you were trying to actually help your people.
Just make sure to keep the Voss bottles on stock. You can be the final boss.
I mean, yeah. I think it could work. I mean, because I saw like they were doing like the side. It's like serious, and I'm like, okay, you could do a plausible Rock as Apocalypse.
Snake Eyes isn't feeling it. I don't know
Yeah,
about that one either.
I tried.
David Thanos, please keep the Rock out of MCU. I don't want to get my moves in 2060. Kang, New Apocalypse. Well, maybe there. I think that's an interesting part to it. You can have them link up in correct time. All right, we've talked about this. We tease it, and I want to make sure that we get to it. But first, you sent me this little nugget of information I thought was useful, along with the other notes you sent.
I try.
You sent a lot, but I definitely want to do this. Marvel Studios boss or co-president Louis Desposito admitted to Empire magazine that it's been a rough time for the MCU following a rocky 2023 that included box office flops, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and the Marvels. The latter title is the lowest grossing MCU movie of all time. How is that possible? They're still making more movies. Marvel didn't fare better on television, where series such as Secret Invasion were widely panned by critics. It sucked. That's why.
Sucked. Because there's actually a thing called Secret Invasion, and they didn't do it. It sucked.
Desposito is committed to seeing the glass half full, says Variety. He told the publication that if we just stayed on top, that would have been the worst thing that could have happened to us. We took a little hit. We're coming back strong. You know what? That's not true. That's loser talk. How about just staying on top? I
mean,
no dynasty goes, you know what? It was better for us to lose. No.
It's dynasty should be like, all right, we would have rested on our laurels, making
no. Just make awesome movies.
Okay, if they had gone on autopilot and people just kept, oh, you know what, She-Hulk was great. Oh my gosh, Secret Invasion. Whoever thought they were going to make this movie? It's a game changer. No, everyone had to admit, okay, this stuff sucks. I need y'all to take a look at it. And that's
you said the key thing here. They were doing different stuff. They were deviating from what it worked. And that's their problem. It was not a thing of, they were on a string of 20 movies that were all at least really good, except for Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World for you. Those were the weaker ones, but even at their weakest, they weren't terrible movies. And, all right, let's do something different with Eternals. Eternals should have gotten flagged for why weren't they there when Thanos was here? Right away. That should have been a stop point for that. Put them in space where they're not around. Black Widow, no. We've already killed off Natasha. We should have gotten this movie out earlier. Shang-Chi, cool. This is good. How do we follow up on this character? We can't let him go 5 years without a next installment or seeing him in something.
Okay. Or
they weren't doing that with anything.
Oh, no. Marvel had better. If you could take some time between movies because you had other stuff that actually was working. There was three. You had 3 Marvel movies at a time. It wasn't. Oh, we got Shang-Chi, we have Black Widow, and then we have a bunch of TV shows. That TV show was your catalyst. Oh, we were trying to sell Disney Plus. We made bad calls to give you guys crap, to give you content. We shouldn't be taking all the hit. That was Disney for telling us we need crap to put on Disney Plus. That's on. But we're willing to take some of that heat because we gave it to them. But we should have also said we should be making movies. Or we can use the Netflix movies, TV shows, and expand on those to give you TV shows. That's what we can do.
I'm just saying. I wasn't complaining after Loki or WandaVision. I like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was when they started to keep doing those shows at the level of quality where it was starting to get dicey. Like, okay, let's follow up these characters you guys have shown on these TV shows to a movie faster. They had so much. It was.
And this is another issue is you could introduce them to TV, then connect them to another property. It was you. I mean, our connection from Daredevil. I mean, She-Hulk was Daredevil. We'd seen him in a movie, but we didn't see Moon Knight in the next thing. We didn't see She-Hulk in the next thing. We acted like these guys, everybody was siloed up until Ms. Marvel went to a movie. Everybody else had been, okay, you've seen him. Like Winter Soldier, Captain America and Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, it's going to lead to a movie 5 years from now. That's not what happened before. It was, we get you there. Like Moon Knight, I wasn't a big fan of Moon Knight, but it's also because I didn't think they focused on Moon Knight, the character. I think that was everybody else in the sun versus Moon Knight. I have the same problem with Shang-Chi. It was Shang-Chi and
Snake Eyes agrees with Afterchild, and David says Moon Knight was good.
Yeah, again, I didn't have a true problem. It was just you have to. Moon Knight was there for 5 seconds before somebody else came and praised the same powers. Instant reason why I'm not gonna super love Shang-Chi. He was fighting a whole bunch of dudes that had the same kind of power, and then he didn't really show, hey, I got the 10 rings. We haven't heard any mention of the 10 rings since then. Like, even Wong, who's been in like 5 things, hasn't mentioned, yo, I got this dude with the 10 ring. I haven't heard anything about that. That's not what Marvel had. That's what we used to have our trailer at the end of movies. Oh, remind you, these people are connected. That's fail.
Ryan says, I don't remember episodes 2 through 6 of Moon Knight. I know I watched them, but yeah, I mean, I remember the hippo. I remember Kenosha, but I remember old girl becoming a superhero in addition to the guy we're just finally starting. Like, it was a rush to make her a superhero because it was like, why does he need a partner? It's his first time out there.
Why does he need a partner? He's her partner.
Right.
She was actually more competent than him, which was like, don't do that.
Hawkeye was mid. I think Hawkeye was fine, but it's this thing of, all right, you got somebody who does the exact same thing as our title hero. Okay, cool. She's fine, but do we need her? And yeah,
let's go to the champions. If you want to
do that, rush Wanda into a movie after a show, unfortunately, it ruined her. I mean, it made sense of why she went off, and that's comic book based. But yeah, I feel like she was one of the few remaining Avengers, and I don't know if we necessarily needed her to go full heel at that point. And after 80 said, my biggest problem with MCU is that most costumes are CGI. How? Like Falcon's costumes not CGI. I mean, the wings are, but Winter Soldier's not wearing CGI. Hawkeye, both of them wearing outfits.
Thor's not CGI. I mean, I think when they do stuff is
Wanda, Doctor Strange. I mean, for the most part,
Carol is just highlighted in CGI, but it is a costume.
Yeah, so I don't know, but so the news is they're gonna limit the movies to no more than 3 a year, which is basically their norm, and no more TV shows beyond 2, which would be okay if we didn't have Agatha as our second one for this year, along with X-Men 97. Because
that counts.
I mean, I would guess so.
I mean, I don't think a cartoon would count as their TV shows.
Well, maybe. All right. Well, Agatha being one, a show that I don't think too many people wanted, shouldn't be on that list. I don't know.
To me, Agatha very much is. This is when this got greenlit. I did. We should have thought about it before we start really moving forward. I mean, to me, Agatha seems like Madam Web property. Don't do this. It's a waste of resources we can take back.
All right, so let's see here. Let me read what's coming out after Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, since you queued me up, Snake Eyes, I'll read this. In the same interview with Empire, Kevin Feige, spoke and said that he's comfortable with being an underdog again. I don't know if they were underdog. It's nice to be able to rally behind one feature project this year. I'm much more comfortable being the underdog. I prefer being able to surprise and exceed expectations. So it does not seem like the last year, which has not been ideal, has set us up well for that. Deadpool and Wolverine's coming to theaters July 26th, so we still got a ways to go with that one.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only MCU project we've got. Ryan says they filed the wrong source material. John Bird's third try, making an uber powerful woman crazy after Phoenix and Sue in Fantastic Four. Yeah, true. It's funny because I was thinking about that. Like, he really does like that trope a lot, doesn't he?
I mean, but I think when it comes to Sue Storm, because we were having a discussion like how powerful so many characters are. I wasn't thinking of Sue Storm as on the level of kind of really super powerful, but by actually showing almost the unfiltered version of these women, also it's like, hey, don't take them as slouches. Just because they've gone very soft, by the nature of their power, you should show how powerful and awesome these ladies can be.
Watch the cartoon with Malice. I think that might be the name of the episode.
Yeah,
but it shows you that she could beat down the rest of them if she really wanted to and had more of an evil edge to her. I mean, heroic Sue probably is not going to do the stuff that Malice did. Yeah. David says I'm good with two shows as long as one of them is Loki. Oh, they should have just made Agatha a one-off villain. You know, Agatha's not really a villain. She helps the Fantastic Four. She helps Wanda in the comic books. And I don't know where they were like, oh, let's make her the evil witch.
Oh, I forgot. That's what we were talking about heal Wanda. They probably should have had somebody, being the last person who manipulates her and then redeem her at the end. I don't think you need to, because you mentioned that. I'm gonna admit you're the one that came up with that idea. So I'm not going to say, I totally thought of that.
That sounds like a great idea, bro. All right, so we'll see. I'm like 80s kid. I don't feel like Marvel Studios is the underdog. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this. Maybe Deadpool and Wolverine is their most anticipated movie of 2024. Furiosa might be better based on the initial round of reviews from the first critics who've seen it. That's encouraging. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the first critics are always a bot critic, so I always have to take a grain of salt with them. But to like an action movie always is one of those things I get a little more excited about the critics, because if you say a drama with some Oscar bait movie that I'm never going to watch, but an action movie, that tends to be, hey, I'm a person who likes action. I'll give it a fair shot. Or the critic who gives it a fair shot.
There you go.
I think that's promising. I don't know if that's coming out Friday, but I'm probably willing to check it. I'm willing to check it out.
All right, now speaking of promising, and I really wish we had Chief here to talk about this because, oh boy, we got our first look at the Superman Legacy / Superman movie outfit. Thoughts? What do you think?
It's funny.
I know 80s kid likes the outfit.
Okay. Chief said it was dusty. But it looks like he's been a
little battle damage going there.
Again, he's been battle damaged, he's seeing this and he's like, okay, time to go back out there. I've been fighting whatever's out there, so I gotta go back out there.
I love the fact that there's no damage whatsoever on the legs and the boots. It's just the top half. He was stopping a plane from crashing, so all that jet exhaust just got all onto the top portion.
Yeah, I like is one of the things I actually like the fact that you're going traditional red underwear on this outside.
There you go.
I like that because again, just hey, we want a classic looking Superman outfit, and we can make this look cool.
I thought it was funny that people were like, "Hey, look, you can't even get an outfit that fits him. He's got wrinkles in his suit." Like, yeah, because it's clothing.
It's not a skin tight joint.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of with the Christopher Reeve Superman, it was skin tight outfit, and I guess we were used to that, but it really doesn't look like that.
That poster should have the tagline Mondays, am I right?
That would have been good.
You'll believe a man can sigh.
Mhm.
That's just really well done.
Yeah.
Classic and New 52. Yeah, baby. I hated the collars on the New 52 look, but it's
It looks like
okay.
it's got a collar on that one too.
It does. Blake says, is this just promo? Why is he so slow getting dressed? He doesn't seem to care that the sky is falling. Yeah, it's kind of weird with that.
Well, it's somebody taking a picture of him, but he's doing it in super speed. But he's
Jimmy has set the camera on Superman blur motion.
Good. I mean, it's giving us dramatic effect, and he's like, all right, let me take 2 seconds. I gotta mentally prepare myself and get it right.
WB finally made Superman relatable. I hate my job. He hates his job too.
That's a good one.
Stays on fire, Blake.
Yeah, he does.
There's no sense of urgency, no excitement, no joy. Yeah, I mean, this is such a weird image. It's like, okay. I mean, no heroic looking out the window, opening up the shirt, out of fine. This kind of makes me feel like it's gonna be a James Gunn Superman, which I'm like, I'm trying to imagine what song is playing while he's getting dressed. But yeah, this is a little bit weird. A little bit weird. It's Brainiac terrorizing the city. It's time to go to work. There's a job for Superman.
Yeah, I don't.
Stickman, maybe it's a Zack Snyder slow motion shot.
Yeah, you're gonna. By the time this shot comes out, you're gonna feel it. It's like, yeah, it's like he's got it. Yeah, he's getting it. Come on. And again, I don't know about you guys, and this is always one of the things that makes me laugh about Superman. I don't know when you guys were growing up, but I thought reporters made a whole crap load of money. I mean, Lois Lane's got a penthouse apartment.
Superman, well, Lois Lane is the best at what she does.
Yeah.
So if anyone's gonna get paid, it's Lois.
But then again, I'm also saying that then we had Superman, New Adventures of Superman and Lois. Man, Superman's got he's got a loft. This thing looks great. He's an opening day reporter. And then you find out that's not true. I'm sure that helped pissed off a whole lot of young aspiring writers. Like, wait a minute, it's not like this? Boo!
Superman takes a little cut of those mafioso magi. Yeah, he's got it. Not who's it? That old boy. Gosh,
Bruno Manheim.
Huh? Yeah. What's his crew again?
Intergang.
Yeah, he's taking a little, a few dollars are left on the side. Well, Superman does have to pay his rent. Blake says Super needs to get some plans in his penthouse. Yeah, it's a nice view for him. It's nice to know we can still count on the old reliable superhero trope of lasers in the sky, though. Yeah. What is it? Maybe some of the Legion of Doom. He decorated his apartment after watching Michael Jordan in The Last Stand.
Yeah, who is it? Because what did you guys think of Suicide Squad? Because I thought after watching that, I'm like, okay, he give me some big Starro. Like, that looks like, hey, I got to deal with a Starro kind of level crap. Like, all right, I can deal with this.
I mean, but the laser is firing in the sky. It's hitting something. That's the only thing. It's like, hey, dude, maybe put a little bit of
fortress, and that somebody General Island came up with. He's like, man, I got to top this guy, and I got to deal with this. Oh, and then Guy Gardner's running around. I got to do the thing. All right, I'll handle it.
Not digging it. I'm not. I like the outfit just fine, but it's like, come on, dude, let's get moving.
Okay. Well, again, I think James Gunn's going to give you all the slow-mo, taking the shirt off, getting the costume out. I think you're going to have some hero poses. This is just, all right, just another day. I'm chilling. Because I've been doing this all the time. And that is a low chair for a tall dude. I wouldn't have that chair in my house.
That chair, though. All right, well, there's our first look at Superman. All right, well, bro, shot, it's that time of the week. Oh. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week?
Oh, I got one easy. My dummy of the week is Mr. Drake.
And why is Drake?
Why is Drake? Drake is a very talented author. I have nowhere near the guy's talent, probably in one little finger of his musical, body. But I also know not to punch up. And Mr. Drake decided he wanted to, take a little slights here and there about somebody who's, better than him when it comes to lyrics. And for the past, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, he's been taking as many shots as he can. But Kendrick Lamar has basically been, nah, son, you don't have what I can do. And
He's
even
taking him
if
to the woodshed.
and even when he doesn't have a great beat, it's still like, nah, just listen to lyrics. You're like, ooh, dang on. Like, I mean, Meet the Grams this is not gonna get airplay. But man, this is just mean. This is one of those takedowns you're just like, I don't want somebody to do this to me. Because what was it? 50 push-ups. I mean, like we were looking at 50 push-ups. Like, oh dang, that was a good one. That had a little beat. Okay. But then Meet the Grams, I'm just like, man, dog, you talk about everything, man. Dang on, man. Just play nice. Like, just say he sucks. Like, that was just bad. So, by actually not understanding who you're not supposed to be rapping against, I'm going to say Drake is my dummy of the week.
My dummy of the week is Peacock.
What did they do there?
All right. Well, Peacock has fired Brian Fuller, the showrunner of their Friday the 13th prequel series, and not for firing him, but the simple fact of having a Friday the 13th prequel series. Who wants this? Who asked for this? All the prequel we needed from Friday the 13th was done with Friday.
So was that Thursday the 12th?
I mean, just I could not be more uninterested, disinterested, or any other phrase you want to use for this. I could be so unbothered with a Friday the 13th prequel series. We're just gonna watch Jason go to school and get bullied and harassed, and he's gonna go to a hockey game and get inspired. No, thank you. Why?
I mean, so I'm just spitballing here. So when you're getting pitched the idea, hey, we're gonna do a horror show. Okay, cool. And what is it gonna be? Exactly. Like, so we're gonna show Jason's mom, and she's gonna be leading him down the path to becoming Jason.
Now, Jason, when you're throwing this, maybe she'll take him to axe throwing contest. And here's a machete. Here's how you cut crops down at our home away from Camp Crystal Lake. Or we're going to watch him try to swim and continue to not get it done. It's like, what in the world?
Do you remember, what was it? Vice City Night? Was it Machete After Dark? I mean, is that what we're going to get?
You said with Grand. What? With Vice City?
No, not Vice City. No. Yeah, Vice City. Like in the radio commercials. One of them was Knife After Dark.
Oh.
I mean, is that what we're going to hey, Sonny, what are you doing with that hockey mask?
yes, I remember that now.
Like, I mean, what are you going to get? What? When you have to pitch this to your boss, all right, we're going to do a Friday the 13th prequel.
No,
get out of my office.
I'm gonna go no, thank you. I'm uninterested. I did not. I mean, exactly. Like, what do I care about the Bates prequel?
Well,
here's us running the hotel.
Here's how they become the bad guy. There's certain stories I don't need to see why they became a bad guy. I mean, I
watched a show about Tarkin though.
I mean, what was it? Gosh, no, not Hannibal. I'm trying to think. We did something. There was some like horror. Friday the 13th. I mean, not Friday the 13th, but Nightmare on Elm Street. Do I want to watch a Nightmare on Elm Street? Here's how Freddy, before he got burned up, here's how his life was as a teacher. And he had he taught at a high school. And this goes on for 5 or 6 seasons. Like, no! Not gonna work. Again, because he was a regular dude. No, not a chance.
Look what they did to Boba Fett. Sigh.
Oh, we didn't even get to that.
Look how they massacred my bounty hunter. What?
Oh, it was I think it was Mina Wing said she wanted more seasons of Boba Fett, and it's like, I don't think that's gonna work.
Rob Zombie's Halloween was bad because he tried to explain why Michael went crazy. Exactly. If you had to explain the joke or the crazy psycho killer in your horror movie, just don't. The whole point is he's a psycho killer. I don't need to know that he was bullied or somebody picked on him or somebody didn't talk to him. But this girl, he like threw blood on. And no, I just
don't make your bad guy sympathetic. Like just because we want to see just them being terrifying. We don't want to see truly what makes them tick.
Oh, poor Freddy. No.
I don't care. I mean, Freddy he's like, oh, whatever happened. Here's my revenge. Okay.
80s kids talking about a real horror movie.
What? What's that?
I love your commitment to that bit. David Thanos says one of the prequels was him in Final Destination. Oh, yeah, like, hey, let's explore the origins of the mysterious force of Final Destination. No prequels for horror movies.
Here's how death happens, kids.
There's death's origins.
And death was born with just killing people, so he decided to come up with a game.
No, thank you. Just don't do it. If you're thinking about a prequel for a horror movie, it's okay. Just say no. All right, well, Bro Shot, as always, thank you for rolling with me. And let's make sure I get all the proper credits to our cast. Saturday Night Live style. David Thanos, 80s Kid from the 90s. Snake Eyes, Afton Child, Ryan Daly, Blake Tarpley, Jamelyn Parks.
David Thanos, Snake Eyes, Marvel fan,
Stickman.
Yep.
I think that's everyone. I think so. If not, please forgive me. Thank you all for watching. Huh?
Jamelyn Parks.
I did say Jamelyn. I didn't forget Jamelyn.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, that's it for now. We'll be back on tomorrow as always on Lyle's Figure Files. But for now, thank you all. Blake says hit the like. File it.
Subscribe.
Take care, guys. Thanks, guys. For now, this episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.